Yo, what's going on, guys? This is how I caught a W today, trading the NQ live in front of my Discord for a roughly around 2 hour trade it was. But yeah, let's just go ahead and jump straight into it. Let's hop out of replay mode. This is, what price action is doing now. So could have left it run a little bit longer, but do I care? No, I don't care, because I got my piece of the move. It's a Friday, the final day of the week, so who cares if it runs a little bit longer? Okay, so let's go ahead and break it down from the top down and then straight down to the lower time frame entry. Okay, so initially looking at the daily chart, you guys can see that we could have framed a bearish daily bias today, but also a bullish one as well. Okay, so when you can frame both sides, both bullish and bearish, you can either do one of two things. Okay, you either stay away from the markets completely because it's not super clear for you, or what you can do is wait for the lower time frame to validate your idea. Okay, because the lower time frame is going to validate either shorts or longs. So either one of those, if that aligns with your bias, then that's when you pull the trigger, look for the trade. Okay, so daily chart, as you guys can see, YM has swept out the daily highs that we've been trading towards all week basically, and you can see we've been pretty expansive for most of the week for YM. For NQ, not so much. NQ is the only asset out of the three where you could have maybe framed shorts today. Not shorts, sorry, where you could have framed longs today, okay? Because both ES had souped out Wednesday's high, which was also a PSP high. And then, of course, YM souped out these highs, okay? But NQ did actually form a bearish PSP on Wednesday. And also, we traded into this daily gap while forming a PSP yesterday, okay? So we easily could have traded into this PSP, maybe run out the low and then traded higher. Okay, we easily could have done that, and we could still do that now. Who knows, because we got the weekly on the lows. But either way, this is what happened today. So YM and ES swooping out those specific highs. Also bearish precision candle for NQ for yesterday's price action. So NQ being the weaker asset out of the three, which means less likely to run out Thursday's high. So you could have actually anticipated this weekly cycle SSMT that formed today before today even opened up. Okay, if you was bearish, you could have easily anticipated either ES or YM to create the stop run, which they did. So precision candle soup, and then we got a weekly cycle SSMT on the highs, as you guys can see right there, with YM creating the stop run and also ES creating the stop run. So the fact that the weekly was between NQ and ES was a lot higher probability. And then our tCISD here, bit of an awkward one, but it was here. As you guys can see, it was reconfirmed at 9 o'clock, which is what confirmed my bearish idea for the day, okay? Because until this candle closed, we was still above. Like, we closed below the tCISD initially, then we disrespected it, and then we reconfirmed it at 9 o'clock. So as soon as 10 o'clock struck, I knew that we were looking for shorts, okay? So this is what confirmed my bearish bias. I was leaning more towards bearish overall, but this was like the cherry on the top, basically, okay? So yeah, bearish weekly, 1 hour tCISD reconfirmed right there. So then looking at a 10 o'clock open up high, low, and then close. So open, high, low, close. So I essentially waited for it to open up high and then form a cracking correlation. Once it opened up high, then I look for a short from that, okay? So what do we have in order for shorts? Did we have any daily? I don't think we did. Let me just double check. No. So London highs never got taken. So we had no daily. So then our next best thing would be that 90-minute SSMT, because we know that we ideally want to see either a 90 or a daily form within the day, if we're looking for intraday trades. Okay, that's kind of like our high time frame for intraday trades. Obviously you can use the weekly and the monthly to form that bias for the day and for the higher time frame essentially. Okay, so we actually had a 90-minute SSMT form right here between Q1 and Q2. And this entry here was insane, like 9:30. I actually wanted to take this entry, but it just ran away without me. As you can see, it just basically just expanded straight at 9:30. So didn't actually manage to catch that one, but because my bearish bias did still remain intact and it was confirmed even more once 9 o'clock closed, that's why I looked for a short after essentially. Okay, so bearish 90, and this happened during Q2. So Q2 technically manipulated. So during Q3, we're not necessarily expecting price to run out this high again, because if this is our manipulation quarter, we don't want to see price go above it, right? We ideally want to see price respect the tCISD, which it did. It traded into it very nicely, rejected, closed as a 5-minute PSP. If you're looking at ES, you can see it closed bearish. And then from there delivered to the downside. And yeah, 10 o'clock, we had 10 o'clock news, so basically waiting on that as well. As you can see, it did technically open up low the 10 o'clock initially, and it formed a nanocycle SMT down here. So just barely creating equal lows for NQ with the value swing, and then we have ES creating that stop run. And because, yeah, it already formed the tCISD whatever with right there with YM, that technically is our tCISD, this bullish one, but because it was formed again between NQ and ES, you can then use ES as tCISD, okay, which was this one. I called this one on stream as well, but like I said, I was more interested in taking the shorts, hence why I didn't take the long here. Yeah, tCISD, so as soon as this got confirmed, then this began the retracement move higher. So all this, I see this as retracement, so then I'm looking for a reason to get into a short off this 10 o'clock, sorry, 4 hour open high low close. So what did we have? Well, we had this 15-minute gap right here that was formed at 9:30. So all I was looking for was just a simple SMT fill inside of it, and then a lower time frame crack and correlation to get an entry. Okay, so we had 15-minute SMT fill. As you can see, NQ traded into this gap, whereas ES and also YM, I believe, was it there on YM? Very small one on YM, did not trade into their 15-minute gaps. So now this has happened. Now I'm looking for a reason to short on the lower time frame. We'd also formed a PSP right there, and as you can see, NQ being the stronger asset was the one to soup it out. So bearish for YM, so it didn't get souped. NQ did soup it, and then after this soup occurred, then I was looking for either a micro or a nano SMT to get myself into the trade, because of course I entered from a tCISD. Okay, so yeah, as you guys can see, we did end up forming the micro, which you're gonna have to give me a minute to try and find it. Okay, I see it. So it's Q3, Q4 right there. Obviously, YM nowhere near Q4 highs. I think ES was the failure swing as well. Yeah, ES nowhere near the high. So this is what kind of gave me pretty good conviction as well. You can see that either ES and YM were lagging behind, or NQ was manipulating higher. In this case, I kind of knew that NQ was manipulating higher, being the stronger asset. So it gave the SMT fill, the micro SMT, and then in this case our tCISD is literally that very first candle that ran above the previous quarter highs. So this big bullish candle right here. So you can go ahead, mark that out, and then yeah, you can see it was very choppy. Not my favorite trade that I've been inside of at all. Let me go ahead and delete everything for now though, just so you can see clearer. But yeah, the tCISD being this candle. So initially we confirmed it, then we disrespected it. But this was the 15-minute soup that we had. So that you can see this candle, 10:15 was the new candle, and this whole price action here was the PSP. So PSP soup occurred there. So what I said was, if we soup the PSP, then reconfirm the SMT, then I'll look for a short. And this is essentially what I did. Reconfirmed it there, look for a short here, stops on the highs right there, and then just ran it down to, I just wanted to take a 1 to 2 today. I do usually take 3 Rs. But just because it's not been my favorite week ever, I kind of just wanted to close the week out, you know, pretty nicely. I just wanted to be in and out. Didn't want to overexpose myself to the markets. And yeah, as you can see, you know, pretty choppy. Did come close to the stop loss, but that's why my stop was on that invalidation. If I would have placed it on the swing high or anything like that, would have been a stop. So this is why it's super important to place it on that invalidation level. And yeah, you can see a little bit of a bumpy ride, but overall it did play out. And also my TP was essentially the bottom of the 5-minute gap. Well, you can see it was static 2RR, but it did kind of line with the bottom of the gap. And because I was bearish anyway, I did expect the bottom of the gap to get hit, to, you know, get inverse and then just continue lower essentially. But if I was bullish here, I would have probably just taken, well, I wouldn't have taken out, because that's not my rule to just get out whenever I feel like it. But I would have really have liked to have got out if I still expect a bullish price action, because you can see BPR, like, we could have easily turned around from here and traded higher. But because my narrative is bearish, I'm going to stick with that and then just wait until it hits my TP. Okay, I'm either right or I'm wrong. I've got my stop on the invalidation. Just let it do, you know, let the market do what it wants to do. And in this case, it was a nice W. I did then go break even once we broke out this low for the second time right there. Okay, so we already got a nice move lower, then we ripped higher, was close to stop loss, and then we broke this low again. So I'm like, okay, if we're going to break this low again, because we had a micro SMT on these lows right here, and then you can see the tCISD was confirmed. We chopped up around there for so long. I was really ready for it just to hit my break even, but you can see it didn't. And then yeah, from there just dropped lower, hit my TP, and then yeah, that is essentially it. So yeah, pretty in-depth trade breakdown right there. I do apologize for not getting one out last week. But yeah, you know, back on track with them again. Managed to get a trade today for Friday, so you know I can get this trade recap out for you guys. And yeah, next educational video is going to be my personal entry model. Okay, so yeah, keep a lookout for that. I'll try my best to get it out for Sunday. If not, it should be Monday maximum, and that's going to be a full in-depth video about my personal entry model. Okay, so how I trade only 90 minutes per day will all be explained inside of that video. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this breakdown and want to see more of these, do let me know in the comments down below. And also don't forget to check out my socials, my premium membership group, my quarterly theory indicators, my tCISD one as well, and my toolkit, and also my one-to-one mentoring group, all linked below in the description. So yeah, thank you guys for watching and take care. Peace out, guys.